Hey everybody, it's Michael here from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video for you today. We are taking a look at the Umarex Ruger P345 CO2 non-blowback airsoft pistol. And again, this is the tabletop review. There will be shooting videos coming up, or field test shooting videos coming up shortly, where I'll test out accuracy, performance in terms of velocity, all of that nice stuff, how it shoots, just give you my general impressions on how this gun performs. And by the way, this product is listed in both our Canada and US Replica Airgun stores over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. I'll put links in the description to make it a little bit easier for you to find it. Let's get right into the specifications. This is a non-blowback, almost all plastic constructed gun. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges that have that twist screw tightener, so you don't need any tools. It shoots 6mm plastic airsoft BBs and has a 15-shot dropout stick magazine, which is pretty much all metal. It has a 5-inch non-rifled barrel, weighs in at about 1.7 pounds or 771 grams. The total length is 8.25 inches or 21 centimeters. It shoots in double action only, up to a claimed 380 FPS. You're going to find fixed front and rear fiber optic sights on this gun, which is nice, with a right side switch style safety, which is common on this type of pistol. And as you can see here, there's an under barrel Picatinny rail for accessories, like a laser or some sort of tack light. You'll notice it comes with an orange tip pre-installed. It may be able to, and I'm pretty sure you could take it off if you'd like to. It is a fully licensed replica of a Ruger P345 through Umarex, and it is made in Taiwan. And as with most of these lower cost air guns, whether they're BB or airsoft, they will come in this plastic clamshell case with some specifications and information on the outside. So you can see here 380 with 0.20 gram airsoft BBs. You'll notice it mentions 430 with 0.12 gram airsoft BBs. So if you want to shoot higher velocities, you'll have to use lighter ammunition, but they will kind of wing around. They'll be more subjected to air and wind and all that kind of stuff. This is what the back looks like. Inside, you're going to have this little compartment that's actually going to hold a few things, like the manual here. Won't get into it too much, but you've got all your manual with a bit of instructions on it here. If you want to freeze this and take a look, you can see here all the specifications I already mentioned. Ammunition capacity, all that, velocity, you get it, right? You know what it says here. And inside, of course, if you fold it all out, you're going to have what you see here, a bunch of more extensive instructions on loading, targeting, that kind of stuff. There's some maintenance information there that's kind of nice to have right there. What else you got here? You got the selector switch, how to adjust that. Again, some more aiming stuff. And it looks like one side is French or whatever. Probably one side is French and one side is English. So obviously read whatever language you're accustomed to. It's nice that it came with a little bag of airsoft BBs. They don't always do that, but you've got something to get you started. I don't know if they're 0.20 gram or 0.12 gram, probably 0.12 gram. But if you don't have any, at least you got a few to get going. Now again, I haven't shot this gun, so I can't mention how it performs, but I have shot a lot of similar guns, like for instance, guns like this Combat Zone here, but mostly in BB. I haven't shot a lot of airsoft versions of these, but a lot of BB versions of these that have this kind of weird sort of barrel that comes out. I don't know if you can see it in here. You can see how when I pull it, the barrel comes out. They're just oftentimes two sides slapped together. You've got screw holes on the one side, but they're kind of like two halves in many cases put together. This one actually has a slide that kind of goes on it. So oftentimes you'll see a seam on the top. They're just literally two halves of plastic put together. Very basic guns, not a lot of working parts, double action only triggers. They usually have these similar selector switches on them. Standard CO2 obviously goes in them. Pretty straightforward. Usually they don't have any type of, adjustable sights. It's very common not for them to have that. A lot of guns, low cost guns, don't have that. But similar in lots of ways. This gun, by the way, is really light. It's just, there's not a lot of metal in it at all. It's under a pound, I believe. Whereas this one's almost 2 pounds, just under 2 pounds. So it's 1.7 pounds. It actually does have a lot more weight, which is kind of interesting. And so let's take a look here. We'll get in here and I'll take a look. I feel like they've actually purposefully put weights in here to make it heavier. Maybe they've added some lead or something. I don't know. But it definitely has a lot more weight to it. And it's not because of the magazine, because this is just really a standard stick magazine. that, you know, these standard stick magazines, for instance, that the Combat Zone uses this magazine. This is from the Combat Zone I just showed you. This one just has their own little butt plate on here. But you could put this magazine in here. You're just not going to have the butt plate that covers up the CO2 tab, right? So obviously you want to use this one, but if you had a bunch of these airsoft versions, you could use them, preload them up and pop them in there between, you know, shooting. For sure you could do that. And then on this guy, you pull this out. I might as well just show you. And then you, how do you do this? Oh yeah, you slide it out. Sorry, I forgot for a second, brain fart. But some of these, I'm not a big fan of this, but it does allow you access to the CO2. It also allows you a little easier access to the CO2 tab because you can't really get in there with big, you know, sausage fingers. So if you pull this out, you can get to the CO2 tab, tighten it up. So that's where your CO2 goes. It stays pretty good. It's not like gonna come out really super easy, because especially when you're holding it, it's not going to open up. But you know, if maybe in a holster it might come open or might pop open on you. I'm not sure. But you'll see here we have this fiber optic sight on the rear. So you got fiber optic on the rear, fiber optic on the front. You know, the ejection port is molded into the gun. It is sort of interesting, this piece, this top piece is sort of, the slide is like a one-piece unit. It doesn't come off, it doesn't work, obviously, but most of the stuff is molded in, like this slide catch release. The safety is molded in. But I do like, well, no, it's just same, you know, they still have these guys going on. This is pretty normal for selector switches on here. But yeah, you got all the licensing, Ruger, you've got their trademarks here, their logo, right? All of that. You've got some warning instructions there. It does have the caliber written on the ejection port. Some more licensing and stuff. The F for the German market. Here's your Picatinny rail. Okay, it's a decent looking gun. Like I said, it's actually got a bit of weight to it. You know, with the metal magazine, it's all metal. It's got a metal trigger, by the way. A lot of these guns don't have metal triggers. They're just like inexpensive. But this one does, so that's kind of nice. Metal trigger. The hammer is just for show. It doesn't work at all. You know, so there's safe, fire. Just a basic double action trigger. Nothing exciting here, but not a bad, you know, setup for sure. Inexpensive and CO2 efficient at the end of the day. It's going to be pretty inexpensive to buy and inexpensive to shoot. All right, let's finish up this review with some of the pros and the cons. It is a fully licensed replica of a real steel Ruger P345 via Umarex. It's fairly heavy for this style of airgun, like I said. I think they put some metal in there or something in there to give it a little more substance. Most are just all plastic. This one, again, must have something added to it. I'm not sure why they did this, but it does make it feel a little bit heavier. Again, you're going to get decent claimed FPS rating of 380 using 0.20 gram airsoft BBs. And because of its design and its non-blowback action, you're going to get a lot of shots per CO2, probably 100 plus shots on one 12 gram CO2. And that Picatinny rail on the frame is great if you want to add some sort of laser or some sort of tactical light. You've also got those nice fiber optic front and rear sights. One is orange and one is green. It makes it a lot easier to line up your target. And that CO2 tab is well hidden underneath the butt plate. Just got to take the magazine out, pull that grip back a little bit, and you have access to it. The double action trigger pull is long and medium to heavy, but it's not overly heavy. It will give your finger a bit of a workout when doing some action shooting for sure. And you can use a generic all-metal stick magazine that's commonly found in a lot of these other lower-cost, similar airsoft guns. It does have a very simple design with not a lot of moving parts, which will make it reliable, and you're going to have it for a while. Shouldn't have any issues with it. And it does have that really initial low cost, and it's cheap to shoot. Just load some CO2 in and a bunch of BBs, and you're good to go. All right, some of the cons. It's an all-plastic gun for the most part, but has what seems to be a lot of metal that they've stuffed inside of there, so that's nice. And it doesn't have a lot of working parts. It's mostly all molded plastic parts, so a lot of the mechanical parts are just there for show. And again, this isn't going to be your fastest action shooter because of the long and somewhat heavy trigger, unless your trigger finger is well worked out. All right, just wanted to remind you this product is available in our Replica Airguns Canada and US online store, or at least it's listed. Availability will depend on inventory, of course. If you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, and other accessories, then check out replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.